Hello and welcome to the Build with Baer workshop. My name is Pat Baer. I'm here to build a model kit and to hang out with all of you. I'm throwing the Barricade, the Lego, the site, the tier 2 blue emote in the chat. If you are currently a subscriber, you can reply with those emotes. If you are not yet a subscriber, you can say hi or use other people's emotes. Or if you feel like being a lurker and not saying anything and just hanging out in chat, you can go ahead and do that too. That's okay. We got Lashbrook here. We got Aristophan here. We already got a great crew right off the bat. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah. It's a Thursday. Got model kit to work on. We got some anime to talk about. We got some video game chat in the second hour, of course. Lots of news, both video games and wrestling to talk about. Cosmic Fly is here. Hello. Welcome. Yeah, I mean, and also it'll just be like a nice Thursday evening of building a model kit and kind of chatting. I'm constantly looking to make sure I'm not dropping frames because currently my father is streaming off of my laptop. He's streaming Amazon Prime to the television, and that's working out. Okay, apparently working out pretty okay. We did this last year. Amazon has Thursday Night Football. Hey, Lord Christian, welcome. So they got Thursday Night Football, and my dad wants to watch it. And the TV is old enough that the native app doesn't work well anymore. The Amazon Prime app doesn't work anymore well. Because we did that last year for a little bit and then eventually gave up. And we don't have a Roku or anything in there. We don't have any device to plug into it. The easiest solution is I hook up my laptop, I wire it to the router, which is right there. The wireless router is right by the TV. Just hook up my laptop and then just log in on my laptop to Amazon Prime. And that has been our solution when he wants to watch stuff. My folks have a TV in their bedroom that has an app that's good because the TV is not that old. And the app seems to be pretty okay. But this is the only way to do it in the living room. We tried with the other app and it just would crash all the time. And if it crashes during 9 p.m. till the game's over, I can't go and help them because I stream. Hey, Harold, welcome. So that's the solution so that my dad can watch one football game a week for several weeks. Luckily, over here, figure it out, Dad, right? Well, luckily, we didn't run into a problem with ESPN. Disney has been in negotiations with our cable provider, and negotiations were falling flat. But somehow on Monday it got settled, and we got ESPN again because it did look like we were going to have ESPN, and that would have been rough because they have some Monday Night Football games. I get to learn so much more about football than I've ever known. That is Spectrum. You're right. Yes, Spectrum was negotiating with Disney. And so I congratulated my folks on being able to get ESPN and then reminded them that their cable bill will probably go up because if this deal is not satisfactory to Spectrum, they will pass on the savings to them by charging more to consumers. Yay. But they get those channels, and that's good. Also, I think FX is back. My dad was disappointed with FX. Lord Crash says I got their weird free trial of Fubo or whatever it is to see ESPN stuff. Yeah, so I remember in New York, we had Time Warner Cable. And because of Time Warner at the time, they had a deal set in place where ESPN Plus didn't work. Like you could buy the internet only version of ESPN, but you couldn't do it in New York City because they were like, no, we won't allow it. Because they owned all of the internet providers that weren't Verizon. So they didn't allow any of the internet providers in New York, exception of Verizon, to run ESPN Plus because they wanted you to not cut the cable. It was fun. There are more options now than there were in the past, but all of the options suck for different reasons, unfortunately. It's like every entertainment company, especially Disney and WB, just wants more money to make up for what they're losing to the strikes. Yeah. So this was pointed out. We're going to get into, you know what? I'm going to retweet my tweet. We'll get into building. I will say this. So one of the reasons why these things are happening is, yes, to recoup costs that they themselves have put in themselves in a position to lose. That's certainly part of it. The other thing is streamers are you're going to see streamers price go up and up and up, right? You're going to see the price of various ways to watch cable without having cable, watch television like that, ways to stream stuff. That's all going to keep going up. And it's not just because they want to make more money from you. That is a big reason why. It's also because they actually want you to spend more money. They actually maybe don't even need you to spend the more money because they want you to get the cheaper option. They want to make it cheaper. The option you don't want. The with ads option. Hey, Ghost Val. They actually would prefer you stop spending as much money on a monthly. Now, they'll take your money. If you want to pay more for the not ads version, if you want to pay more for what is consistently just the base version without ads, except when it does have ads, because sometimes it just fucking has ads too. But if you want the good version, where you're not going to see where you're not going to see that increased price, then you get the part with the ads, and it's not cheap. And that'll go up too, because they want these streamers. What they actually genuinely desire is the best of both worlds. They would love it if they were getting ad revenue like they were a cable or major network. But they also don't want to pay residuals to writers and actors like the network television deals are in place. So they want the streaming new media, we're just a little guy payments to go out, while they make the same or more money than if they were a television network. So while it is clearly also fucking over consumers, that's a bonus because the idea is to further ruin the people making the thing that makes them the money. It's wonderfully garbage. It is excellent, beautiful, wonderful trash, and evil. It's evil. Either get the cheap ads tier or the even more expensive version without ads that costs about the same as what they get on the ads tier. Yes. They dropped my Xfinity TV last year and switched to Hulu with live TV. I just switched from Hulu to YouTube TV because the DVR is better, and also fuck Disney. Yeah. So my folks keep talking about cutting the cord, right? They're going to get rid of cable. Cable is so expensive. The price goes up with no notice. Cable is getting you in every direction. It's time to do it. It's time to get rid of it. It's time to go to another service, right? The one I think we're doing is we're going to do Roku with Hulu and live TV because they want channels. They would like on-demand stuff, which you can get through that, but they don't want piecemeal channels. They want a bunch of stuff. They basically want cable light. So that is what we're currently trying to figure out is the best way to give them what they perceive to want, which is, as I said, cable. Some cable, not all the cable. That is kind of what we're going for right now. Is that what we're going to end up with? I don't know. Are we going to just keep television? Possibly. Now, at the end of the day, I want them to make a decision they're happy with, and I want them to be happy with that kind of stuff because it's their choice, it's their money, it's their decision, all of that, right? If I'm being honest, I want them to keep cable because I don't want them to be streaming television on two TVs on this cable that we have set up right now. Also, because one TV would have to be on Wi-Fi, the other one could be wired. We only have wired into the room with the largest TV. I don't want two TVs on Roku devices on this network unless we get better internet, which I don't think we're going to do. So selfishly, that's one reason. The other reason I don't want them to do it is an incredibly selfish one, is that there are a couple wrestling shows that I watch with their cable login on my computer, and I would like to keep watching those. That is how I watch all AEW television programming, is going to TBS.com or TNT, whatever, the TNT and TBS websites. I go to those websites and watch that. And also Friday Night SmackDown on WWE. I watch that via the Fox Sports website with my cable login, because it's considered somewhat a sport. I used to be able to watch SmackDown from Fox.com, but Fox.com is not, the digital version is no longer part of our cable package, the basic whatever cable package we have. That's no longer included in that. So the solution is to go to foxsports.com, because wrestling is technically a sport to them. So I can watch it through that. And that is how I watch wrestling, televised wrestling, is through those channels. There used to be an easier way to watch TBS and TNT stuff, but that all went to hell, and as far as I know, never really got fixed. But there used to be a far better way to do it. That doesn't work anymore. Harold says, I recommend doing a free trial before you make the move. Also, Hulu DVR sucks. Yeah. Vince's rebranding 20 years ago finally worked. Indeed, it does benefit me a little bit, because they do treat it like a sport. So basically, we're not gonna get rid of cable until we get a Roku and get something and try some things out. That's basically the idea, is they're gonna try some stuff out, see if they like it. My dad is going to fight it the entire way, because a thing that my father very much enjoys, I need D. This is D1. I need D19 and 20. There they are. My dad very much enjoys taking a remote and entering numbers. He doesn't want to scroll. He doesn't want to use favorites. He's going to hate whatever ends up happening. But it seems like inevitably we'll do that. Like I said, my hope is that I can convince them, like, what if we got like a better tier of internet here? What if we got we went to a different internet provider? There's one other internet provider around here, and what if we went to them and I had decent enough internet? Can you even imagine okay enough internet, better than what I have now internet? Oh, the possibilities of decent enough internet. So lovely to just think about. Cable landscape, digital or through ISP, is fucked due to capitalism. Yeah, I mean, well, Lord Crashin, as we're going to get into conversation tonight about various topics, yeah, it's all fucked. You just have to do your best to find ways to go with the least fucked version. Because it's all awful. So, make the most of it. I've been thinking about finally getting a VPN. Everybody. Never had one of those. I have used a free VPN on occasion when websites have been weird and decided they didn't like my, they were blocking like that. Like in New York, I had that occasionally. There would be a website I had to log into for work. And it was fucked. There was just a website I logged into work, and it was like, oh, we don't like your home we just don't enjoy it. And it'd be like, and I did everything I could to figure that out. I couldn't figure it out. So I had a VPN, a free VPN that I would use on Chrome, that I would just open up, go to the website, do the thing, and then close out of it, whatever. Because they basically, there was no data. I couldn't stream anything on that. I couldn't go to the Netherlands and watch Netflix from the Netherlands on it. But for my for my purposes, I should say, it was totally fine for that. And then eventually they changed how we did the work, and it was fine. I could use it for my phone if I turned off Wi-Fi and just used my phone. So I would do that as well. So you finally convinced my podcast ads. So you know what it is? This is all theoretical. This is hypothetical and theoretical. Let's say that I found myself in this case, let's say I'm in the Netherlands. Love the Netherlands. Travel there all the time. When I'm in the Netherlands, perhaps while I'm there, I'm thinking about watching an AEW pay-per-view. Well, how would I watch an AEW pay-per-view in the Netherlands? Well, I'd go to Fight TV. I'd go to Fight TV and I would purchase it. I'd go and buy the pay-per-view and watch it. Now, while in the Netherlands, while logged in the Netherlands on my computer, I notice, hey, in US dollars, this is like $30 cheaper. This is like way cheaper than if I was in the United States and I went through Bleacher Report. Bleacher Report for an AEW pay-per-view is $50. It's like $20 through a VP. If I was in the Netherlands. It's a lot cheaper. Now, in the long run, if I had a VPN that had a data plan, would it actually make sense to do it? Would it actually make sense to do this thing? To have a VPN and while, in another country, go through the process of doing all that. Does the math actually add up? And the answer is I don't know yet. I'm pretty sure. Now, if I was using this VPN to watch things and the only thing I was using this VPN for was to watch wrestling, I don't know. But if I was going to do anything else as well, then it starts to make sense. But it also, AEW is going to keep having pay-per-views. They're just going to keep doing pay-per-views. They're doing 2 more this year than they did last year, which was 1 more than the year before. So, if I buy every pay-per-view, which is $50 a pop, I should also say, on occasion, while I'm watching these pay-per-views, I'm not paying $50 by myself. Other people are on board with it as well, right? So that comes in at the cost. Maybe I don't have to ask them to do that. But if I'm gonna spend $250 a year, before people chip in all that on this, it probably would behoove me to look at a VPN, perhaps, so that when I am traveling to the Netherlands and watching programming, I could do that, and maybe that would make sense. Maybe I want to be in a country that still has the WWE network, where Peacock doesn't have any foothold. AEW's not likely to go to WWE route and put all their shows and pay-per-views on Max, are they? I assume they just do the shows and make people pay for pay-per-views. So, Lord Crashington, this is a hotly contested thing, right? People were under the impression early on that All In, this big Sunday show, people were under the impression that All In, this big show they did on Sunday that was a week before a pay-per-view, wasn't going to be a pay-per-view. That wasn't going to be available. That was going to be, somehow you could watch it and it wouldn't cost you anything. And people assumed that it would be on Max. Now, right now, that's not the case. I should mention that besides owning Max, they own Bleacher Report. And so I don't know if they think having more Max subscribers, because that's where you can watch wrestling, AEW wrestling, I don't know if that's going to be better for them than people spending $50 on Bleacher Report to watch wrestling. It might be better for them to not have it. Now, do I think that maybe the TNT and TBS shows might also be there in an archive format? I do think that. Right now, if you have a cable login, you can watch AEW programming like a couple days later, like basically like video on demand style. So you can do that. So it's definitely possible. And also, they have partners all across the world, including there are some countries where you can buy or not WWE. Well, they work for that too, but you can watch AEW stuff like on YouTube in certain countries. And I don't know what the price for those shows are and how it compares. So I actually don't know if someday there will be like a higher paid tier of Max where you get wrestling. I would assume eventually they would want that, but I also don't know. They might just like it the way it is. They might like all of the pay-per-view money instead of the Max money. I don't know yet. It would be interesting, like it would obviously be better in some ways because some people are like, I can't wait to just pay for Max and get AEW. And it's like, well, I don't know if you're going to get that. I don't know. But I'm going to have to start investigating these things and get these things to work out because especially like in 2024, there'll be like at least one more AEW pay-per-view. And it's just at a certain point, I just got to start thinking about things. Also, the Bleacher Report app and website sucks. It really sucks, and I would rather go through Fight. Also, if I had a VPN, I could watch. There's some programming on some wrestling subscriptions that are Japan only, and they don't want you to watch it if you're outside of Japan. So I could be in Japan for some of those, perhaps. It wouldn't make anything cheaper or anything like that. Although New Japan World, apparently they are no longer they're going to do like a set America US dollar rate coming up soon, which is different from their previous things, which was previously they just there was conversion rate. And it was way cheaper. Now it looks like they're going to that. So maybe it would behoove me to do that if I want in Japan World, which right now I don't want. But in the future, I might. I don't know. It's all complicated and weird. Anyway, look, I don't have a lot to say about the Unity business that hasn't been said by smarter people than me. All of the Unity stuff sucks. I am certainly, my heart goes to not just the indie developers who are suddenly in a nightmare scenario that success could mean a huge portion of their income going to Unity on a deal they didn't sign because the deal changed without their knowledge or consent and no opt-out possible. And they're in a completely impossible situation that there's just so much. Yes, only 10% of the devs will be affected. But also, why would I trust Unity to know any of those numbers? Because it's not accurate or make any sense. So there's a lot of back and forth. It's unique devices. It's not multiple times you installed it. But if you have a Steam Deck and a PC, yes, that counts. And it's retroactive, but it's not for free games. But it is for games like this. But if it's that, but this, if it involves gambling, if it's not considered this. Well, so many people use it and don't spend any money. So that's not sustainable, which is not the fault of the people that signed a user agreement. And, hey, don't worry about it. If it's for charity, good night, Harold. If it's for charity, if you're part of a bundle, which I should say, this has not been confirmed. But it has been stated by several people within the company of Unity, anonymously, that in conversations about all of this, they stressed and had to explain what Humble Bundle is, because some people at the highest levels of Unity didn't know about charity. They knew the concept. They didn't know about the idea of Humble Bundles. No concept about Humble Bundles at all. And the fact of the idea that a lot of people have not installed all of the games they have purchased, and if suddenly they did, it could ruin a company. But don't worry. This is a quote here from their FAQ. Because turns out they're getting a lot of frequently asked questions. But in their FAQ, they get asked this. How is Unity collecting the number of installs? Like, how are they going to figure that shit out, right? We leverage our own proprietary data model and will provide estimates of the number of times a runtime is distributed for a given project. This estimate will cover an invoice for all platforms. Now, they've walked that back because they're saying, and they might not actually even stick to this, but right now they're saying, oh, well, if you're part of a free, if your game costs money, but the platform you're on gives your game away for free, which includes like free games on Epic or Steam giveaways that are like the Epic free game, but really we're talking about Game Pass and PlayStation Ultimate or whatever. That's on the publisher, not you, because you made a deal with a publisher for that. Now, has either of those publishers agreed to that? Doesn't the FAQ have multiple definitions of what an install is? Yes, Lord Crashington. Yeah. We're talking about like an instance of a device. Multiple installs on the same device doesn't count, but if you bought the game once and installed it on a laptop and your PC, you know a thing that you're totally okay with doing? That counts as 2. If you put it on Steam Deck, that's 3. But if you reinstall, that's not. How they can tell the difference between those two things? Nobody knows. Just trust them. They wouldn't steer you wrong. They're not horribly ruining their opportunities for growth and to be the industry leader. Cloud streaming is also an install. Yes. Again, but that doesn't matter because they got you. They understand. They're getting you. Also, there's no way in fucking hell Microsoft is gonna be paying for Game Pass installs. They just won't pay it. Why? And what can Unity do? What can Unity fucking do to Microsoft? They can do a lot to small devs. As mentioned, popular small devs. Like now, hey, if your game is coming out on Unity in the next 2 years, you've got to raise the price. You just have to raise the price. You just have to raise the price and incorporate the DLC that you were hoping to get some people on DLC. You literally have to raise the price because you will not be able to afford to do it at at an introductory rate to try to catch attention. You just can't, literally will not be able to do that. There's just no way you can do that because it will financially ruin you if you try to do that. It's fucked. I mean, there are a lot of statements from a lot of people. As I said, a lot of people have a lot to say about it. A lot of good points were mentioned. There's some conversations that apparently have been happening. Of course, these small and medium-sized developers that were talking signed NDAs, so we're not too clear on exactly what was said. Because, of course, they signed some NDAs in order to have this conversation because Unity is on doing their best to damage control the situation. And it's rough. It's rough for my friends of mine who are making games. Should also say that not only John Riccatello in the news for not only selling some stock last week, he's been selling stock throughout the year. One might assume that he has been selling stock so that he could point to the stock he sold previously to last week to go, oh no, this is something I do all the time. I didn't just sell the stock last week because I knew that saying all this we would take a financial hit. I do no. This is part of the process. That of course conjecture on my part and possibly not true, but feels like fine conjecture. Also, there were this recorded as credible, quote unquote, death threats. There was a town hall meeting they had scheduled, and that meeting was postponed because of death threats at 2 studios. It goes without saying, and anyone watching this stream understands this, that the low-level developers... Sorry, I gotta... Okay, sure. Low-level developers did not make this decision. Do not want the decision. The people that work on Unity understand that this choice is threatening their own jobs. Like, forget it being the right thing, which it's the wrong thing. What they're doing right now is the wrong choice for their own growth as a business. So it literally, besides being awful for developers, is bad for Unity. It's very bad for Unity. It won't be bad for fucking John. John's gonna do just fine. John just fails upwards and gets payouts, and it will be okay for John. John won't get blamed for any of this because he's making the necessary moves to help out Unity for future growth and blah, blah, blah. And gamers didn't fucking get it. And developers were thinking too small and all this other stuff. There will be no consequences for him at all. So don't send fucking death threats to studios because that doesn't do anything except make people even more terrified. Yes, CEOs cannot fail. They only succeed, or they occasionally, well, they just got put in a weird position thanks to X, Y, and Z that they had no control over. And I can't believe it. How could this happen? We just went for it. Obviously, that sucks. Like, I'm not trying to say that that doesn't suck. Clearly, it does. And I do feel, while I feel terrible for the many, many people that are in just a completely fucked situation because of these changes, I also feel very bad for the people who work there who are just trying to fucking work at a company. They're not trying to be assholes. It sucks. Yeah, it's just really, really shitty. I mean, I would say, yeah, if you can migrate off of Unity, it's going to be tough for developers to do it. But what else are they going to do? There's just trust has been evaporated, just completely gone. Like it's gone. And I guess I'll say this: if you bought a game and you're like, maybe I'll get around to playing that, and you're not sure if you're going to play it or not, don't download it if it's on Unity made in Unity until you know for sure you want to play it. Like, don't like download a game and then not play it, because that just costs the developers money, I guess. That's fucking weird advice. Oh yeah, Lord Crashington. Yes, so I don't know how credible the word is that there are a lot of people that fought this and understood. You hear that a lot with stupid decisions that only hurt a brand, right? You hear that a lot. Like, hey, guess what? There were a lot of people at the people that made the good rice maker that were like, hey, all this extra stuff doesn't make any sense and we shouldn't be doing this. There are always going to be people who are like, well, even if you don't think it's much of our business that does this, it's the reason why we're a success is all of the small people, and they're going to hate this, and we're going to look like assholes. Like, it's just fundamentally trust is going to be broken if you do this thing where you suddenly like, this is retroactive. Like, that's just going to ruin us. Um, a lot of people said that, I'm sure. Again, this is what's been said. We don't know for certain, but you can use your you can use if then what else to kind of understand where things might be going wrong here because of that. It is totally reasonable to believe that this isn't a universal thing where Unity is this company that no one fucking gets it. No, people get it. It's just these C-suite people don't give a shit if people are mad or unhappy or go bankrupt. Because, hey, guess what? If Unity's bullshit changes, causes you to go bankrupt, they didn't want your business anyway. Because they're not interested in the people that would go bankrupt from these decisions. Yeah, they just want more money. We said this before. Companies that are public, that have to answer to people, that have to answer to shareholders, the greed involved in that is such that it makes it almost impossible for them to make interesting or cool or fun or humane decisions. And now, the alternative to that have been dwindling, right? Get bought up by a bigger company and then, just get some funds and you can make things work. Well, that bigger company might just lay off a bunch of you. Well, all right, we'll go independent and we'll leverage. And, now that we can get a cool system where a lot of people are trained to use this licensed system, and we could do that, and we don't have to build our own engine, and we can just do this. Well, no, because you might go bankrupt if your game does well. If you break that threshold, this magical threshold that they haven't quite figured out exactly what it's going to be, but if you get fucked by that threshold, you're just completely dead in the water. It's just unbelievably shitty. I'm going to panel line these two arms here now because I have to put the shoulder on here. There's one shoulder shield on here, but it's going to cover up some of it, so it'll be easier just to panel line this now. But yeah, it absolutely unequivocally sucks. Yeah. And small and medium-sized devs talking about spending the money to move off of it, talking about just dunk it out where they can, all of that. There were also, a state of play and a Nintendo Direct today. If you have a Switch, you can play, you have a Switch and you're part of their program, you can play Tetris 99. There's going to be Mario versus Donkey Kong. Paper Mario, we knew about that. Super Mario RPG. Bunch of RPGs. Princess Peach Showtime. I meant F-Zero 99. I don't know what I said that wasn't F-Zero 99, but that's what I meant. F-Zero 99, you can play that. From the fine folks that brought you Tetris 99 and other 99s that weren't as good as Tetris 99, you can play F-Zero 99. If you wanted a new F-Zero game, this is probably his best. Oh, I said Tetris 99. Yeah, you can also play that. The trailer for Princess Peach Showtime was pretty cool. That's pretty great. And that's coming out in March of next year. And that's a cute looking game. That looks fun. I think people are going to have a good time with that. I don't have a Switch, so I'm not playing any of this shit. But that does look cool. Remind me of Puppeteer. Yeah, it had a Puppeteer vibe. More about Detective Pikachu. Luigi's Mansion 2 HD, a.k.a. Dark Moon. So basically, this is, I think, kind of interesting. It's not Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon. They're going with the number, which they used in Japan, I believe. Uh, so they're just going with Luigi's Mansion 2 HD. I think to make people understand that this is not a new Luigi game, it's an old Luigi game. Uh, the Ultimate Dark Moon, yes. And I think that's smart. I think that's legitimately a smart way to go. F-Zero 99. Looks like I do have Switch Online still. Gonna try out F-Zero. Hell yeah, let me know how you like it. Yeah, it's a battle royale. It looked neat. It's you can play it now. WarioWare Move It. Uh, Coming out November 3rd. Mario Kart 8 Booster Course DLC. Okay, so there's gonna obviously I miss playing new Pokemon games. There have been now like 3 Pokemon games that I haven't played, and that's weird. But I have never wanted a Nintendo Switch more than right now, knowing that we're getting a US version of Spy Anna, Operation Memories, a life sim spy family game. And you play as Anya. And it's coming in 2024. And I don't think it's coming to anything else, but I'm gonna look now. I don't know. I don't think there's gonna be a PC version of this lovely game. Thought of you, Pat. Yeah. But it just looks so fucking cute and great. I know it's not gonna come to the PC, but it looks very fun. I thought that was a Spy Family game, but I don't think they ever said it. It is. It's literally in the font Spy X Anna or Anya. Anya. I say Anna sometimes. It's Anya. Uh, Spy X Anya is in the font of Spy Family, and it is a Spy Family game. Um, but hell yeah. Uh, Becky's in there. Uh, you can dress up characters. It's going to be great. The good dog is there. Yeah, that looks really fucking cute, and I'm excited about that. And I don't know. Someone I know will probably play, do a let's play of it. I think that's how I will live vicariously through friends of mine that will be amped to play that on stream. Like that's the best I can hope for, is that some friends of mine will be very interested in playing that game, and I'll be able to watch them and live through them because I don't have a Switch. I'm scrolling to see if there's anything else in here. Contra Operation Galaga. Way Forward. Doing like a thorough reimagining of the classic run and gun action game. That's fun. I'm the one person that hasn't seen it, so I wouldn't recognize that font. Yeah, Lord Crashin, Spy Family's really fucking good. It is comedic and heartwarming and action-packed and a lovely little weird spy thriller found family dramedy. It's real good. It's real good. There's a movie coming out very soon. It's a good show. Trombone Champ is coming to Nintendo. Seems like incorporated elements from Contra 3, and I wish they just did a Contra 3 remake instead. I hear you, Lashbrook, but I don't think you'd get that. I just don't think you would get, I just don't think that's going to be a thing that would exist. Like, I just don't think you're going to ever actually get what you want there. Trombone Champ's coming to the Switch. Today, Trombone Champ is out for the Switch. If you've been waiting because you want to play it on a TV or on the go, now you can. Of course, you're not getting mod support that way, because obviously the PC is the superior version, but if you're on an airplane and you want to play some Trombone Champ, just get your Switch out, no problem. Classic Tomb Raiders remastered. Let them die. You don't need to play those. Tomb Raider 1 through 3 remastered starring Lara Croft. Tomb Raider 1 through 3 remastered starring Lara Croft it got that IR trombone control. Indeed, throttle bottom. You can do that weird thing with the IR sensor on one Joy-Con that's never been before until WarioWare and Trombone Champ. Yes. I'm sure it's in some game. I just don't know. But yeah, hey, I like that that Tomb Raider, I should say, 1, 2, 3, remastered starring Lara Croft. I like that this game, the choice they made, which I think is pretty good, is if you want, you can use the old graphics or, updated looking graphics. But also, you can just let those games weren't good. The Tomb Raider games just weren't that good. They were a fun idea, and she had pixelated boobs. And that's kind of it. No. I don't think so. But she was the drawing feature in Tomb Raider. So, it's just branding. Yeah, like I said, there were games that use the IR sensor. I'm just never played them. I don't own a Switch, so I've never played them. Uh, Prince of Persia, Lost Crown, sure. And then Horizon Chase 2. And then I think there was at least one RPG in the Japanese version of the Nintendo Direct, which is not listed in this list here. But we don't know if that's going to come to the US because it wasn't included. But sometimes they do. Sometimes they still do. Oh no, I dropped the thing. I'll grab that if I need it. I will need it now that I'm looking at this. So I'm going to need that. Damn it. Hold on. I'm going to go to the pre-show screen here for a second. Oh. All right. Let me get the. Oh. All right, coming back here. And we're back. Sorry about that. Oof. Ugh. I should have just gotten out of my chair and said I stretched, and now I have a pain in my neck. So that's fun. That's a fun thing for me. I'm going to drink a little water here. The Sony Direct I really didn't look much at. So I can't really tell you too much about the Sony Direct because I didn't really pay too much attention about it. Damn it. Sorry. Fuck, ow. Did you know there's a Monster Rancher? Yeah, the Monster Rancher Ultraman, the knockoff Monster Rancher game that is Ultraman and Kaiju. I am aware of that game existing. Yes, we've talked about it on the last Nintendo Direct when it was in the Japanese version of that Nintendo Direct, or 2 Nintendo Directs ago. But yes, we have chatted about that before because that does exist. Really, shit. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna end the stream because I am in a lot of pain right now and I need to take a couple ibuprofen and stretch. But my neck really fucking hurts right now, and I'm not gonna stream for another hour with my neck hurting because this sucks, and I'm in just pain right now. And I'm not going to fucking fight through it. So on Saturday, I'm going to talk a lot about anime that we missed here. We're going to talk about, some other stuff, I'm sure. But I am, I'll be fine. I'm just going to take a couple ibuprofen and I'm going to lay down and stretch out and deal with this. But I'm in physical pain right now and I don't want to be. So I'll tell you this: the Shonen Jump app added all of Yu Yu Hakusho. Read Yu Yu Hakusho. Look at the art and watch how it changes, and how it's a good fucking story. It's still a good story, but yeah, I'll have a big anime dump in the next stream. but I don't feel great right now. I'm in a lot of pain right here, and I don't want to be anymore. And I don't think it's going to get better. I should have just gotten out of my chair to go and reach for the thing that I didn't reach for, and it sucks that I didn't do that. We're gonna raid. That is how we end every stream. We only been an hour. I'm sorry about this, friends. I'm sorry that I'm busting out of here, but I would not be a good um, streaming host right now. Uh, Not even any ads. Yeah, I'm because I just know that I'm gonna be in pain. Yeah, we didn't even take an ad break. Um, how long is this person been streaming for? They've been going an hour and a half. We never rate Jason. We're gonna rate Jason. Jason's great. He might be wrapping up in the next half hour, but he rates us more than we rate him. So uh, we're gonna go give him a raid. So feel free to come along on this raid. Again, I'm very sorry about this. Uh, I'll be back on Saturday. This will be a temporary nonsense. So I'll be back on Saturday with more streaming, and it'll be fun. And I'll have 5 anime episodes to talk about. So feel free to come on this raid. Thank you all so much. I apologize for dropping out so early, but yeah, I'm hurting right now. So I'll talk to you soon. Bye, everybody. Goodbye, 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 goodbye.